everyone, welcome back to the channel. There's a lot of news, so let's get into it. First things first, did you know that the Harry Potter films finished wrapping 15 years ago? We're all super duper old. And not only was it 15 years ago that filming finished wrapping, but the Hogsmeade section of Universal Studios was open to the public. So to commemorate the 15-year anniversary, they are now selling this $100 limited edition plaque. Now the question is it glass? It says anniversary glass, but like, I really hope it is glass. Now, I gotta be honest with you, none of the information here states if it's limited edition or not. So how many, did they make, what's the quantity size? Because if it's like 2,000, then sure, I would probably get it. But if it's like an open edition, but it's just sold from for the entire year, then I'm like, I'm not spending $100 on a glass, It is nice, it does say 15th anniversary on it, but I feel like $100 is expensive. Just saying. But I also did email merch services and asked them a bunch of questions about it, but they never replied back, so oh well on that one. Moving right along, did you guys know another Harry Potter shop in Japan will be opening up? Again, it'll be in Tokyo, but this time it'll be in Shibuya. So it's called the Harajuku store, and it's going to be 900 square meter shop inspired by the Forbidden Forest, and I'm actually super excited for this. But the Instagram page has a lot more to cover. So it says the magic is coming to Harajuku, Japan. Japan's first flagship shop is opening August 2025 on Omotesano Street in Harajuku. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm wrong. Inspired by the Forbidden Forest, the shop will offer a spellbinding shopping experience filled with magic. Now here's where it gets a little bit interesting. So it says Harry Potter shop Akasaka opens up on July 17th. Now this is the original Mahudokoro Harry Potter shop that already exists. It's been open for a couple of years now, and they're just rebranding it and renaming it to fit the new shop. So it says the beloved Akasaka Wizarding World street shop will reopen as Harry Potter shop Akasaka on July 17th, Akasaka. A special place for Harry Potter fans will continue to share the magic of the Wizarding World. Now, if you're ever in Japan, I highly recommend you go to Akasaka because they have all the Harry Potter stuff there. They have the Cursed Child Play, they have Akasaka train station, which is designed basically as Harry Potter. There's a lot of photo ops there too, and of course the store and the cafe. 10 on 10 would recommend. If you want to see more, check out my playlist on my channel. I have a whole bunch of Japanese videos. Moving right along, if you didn't know, July 31st is Harry Potter and JK Rowling's birthday, and as such, they are releasing a new line of merch all about Harry's birthday. So if you're curious, go check it out. Honestly, I'm not that big of a fan of this merch. A lot of it looks cheap. Moving right along, a couple of weeks ago, Tom Felton announced that he'd be reprising his role as Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child play on Broadway, but it has now been announced that it has been extended to the 10th of May. So if you didn't get tickets, you still have a chance to get more tickets. So FYI, there you go. And there's also this little clip that I wanted to share because it was kind of funny.
Not old enough to play the older Draco, but you're apparently doing it. Congratulations, man. What a moment.
It's really, really exciting, and I did not see it coming at all. Potter, as we call him, he's had many a happy year here, so basically following in his footsteps, really. And
footsteps to follow, and he's doing all right for himself.
Yes, I heard he did rather well last year at these things.
Did quite well. Okay, so does the phone blow up immediately? Did Dan, did Emma, did all the cast members be like, seriously, you're doing this? I mean, in an amazing way.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Because I couldn't tell anyone. I was sworn to secrecy.
Who sent the most emojis? Who had the biggest WTF text?
I think Matthew Lewis took the Mickey the most. That I'm too old for it now and whatnot. But everyone's very excited and very supportive, and I'm sure I can drag as many of the Potter cast here for the first week as I can.
I was going to say, just the cast alone is going to make it a sellout. Who's going to knock you off your game the most? Who do you not want to see in that audience?
I mean, I want to see everyone, obviously. I think any of the Potter lot would probably throw me off. I imagine Emma smiling at me would make me break character a little bit.
So there's that. That's just a fun little clip that I wanted you guys to see. He seems very excited to be returning as Draco Malfoy. So much so that this guy was basically crying, putting on his wig. Look at that. I'm so mixed on this. On one half, it's like, that's awesome, he's returning as Draco Malfoy. On the other half, this play is absolute garbage. Let's be real. All right, now let's talk about the Hogwarts Express adventure. So this was announced actually back in 2024 on September 1st. Yet nothing ever came out of it. So it just says next stop adventure, platform 9 3/4 awaits. Head to the link in bio to start planning your journey. Now there's really nothing here because this is it. Magical train awaits, boarding in 2025. And there's literally nothing to it except this little video. I'm going to mute it because it's probably copyright. But this is all that we have. Just a little teaser of 30 seconds. And it says absolutely nothing. Yeah, see? Nothing. It's literally just graphics. So, there's that. Exciting, I guess. I'm assuming they're going to be making their announcements for September 1st, which, if you didn't know, is basically, honestly, just related to, like, Star Wars May 4th Day. It's just a super-duper corporate, soulless event that announces a bunch of Harry Potter things coming up, like merch. Last year, they talked about Quidditch Champions, and they also released, like, the Lego Harry Potter collection on Steam. The year before that was a lot of Hogwarts Legacy talk, so I am curious to see what's going to be happening this time around. I feel like it's just going to be a lot of HBO Harry Potter TV show news, but you never know. Maybe this will be something interesting. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know how efficient this account is and how reliable it is, but it says new details about Harry Potter: A Hogwarts Express Adventure have just been revealed. It's a full-length production on a moving train, total cast and crew of 40 and 50 people on site, Broadway-style performance, and it's 5 show days, boarding in 2025. So I'm curious to see what this is. I really am. It does say Rail Events Incorporated. Let's go Google that, actually. Oh, it's like the Polar Express. Okay, well, you know what? That's actually really cool because I've seen the Polar Express thing when I was a child, and that was pretty cool. Although I don't think it was the exact same as this, so who knows? Anyway, I am definitely intrigued. If it's near me and if I can go, I'll definitely check it out. Moving right along, did you guys ever hear about the Magicaster Ultimate Wand experience? Honestly, you probably didn't because it wasn't a very big success. And the reason to that was that it cost $150 to buy. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, here is an article from 2022. And as you can see, it's literally you just hold a wand and you're able to turn on certain things like with your smart home device. So it was like a tablet, your phone, some lights, a TV, whatever it is. The app had a spellbook with over 50 spells, including Lumos, Expelliarmus, and Wingardium Leviosa. Cast Lumos, for example, the tip of your wand will light up. Expelliarmus will flash an image on your TV of a wand being knocked out of someone's hand. Now, the thing is, though, like I said, this was $150, and most fans did not like it. They literally thought it was cheap, and most of the times they just left it in the box from as soon as unboxing it. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, starting April 16th, which is a couple of months ago, the Magicaster Wand app will no longer be available to be downloaded from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Starting August 1st, so in a couple of weeks, it'll be completely shut down. So after August 1st, you will no longer be allowed to use this app or the Magicaster Wand. And I gotta be honest, that's $150 worth of, nothing. It's just another prop replica, which is honestly, it's a shame because it was kind of a cool idea, right? The idea of it, a wand turning on certain devices in your house was pretty enticing. However, the execution was just awful. And look how cheap and ugly it looked. Let's be real. And in fact, it's completely been removed from the Harry Potter shop. Womp, womp, womp. Moving right along, did you guys know that Gary Oldman fancied a go at Dumbledore in the new Harry Potter series?
I'm actually very intrigued to see it because so much of the books were cut. I would have fancied a go at Dumbledore. About them getting up there now to the right age for Dumbledore.
But hey, at least he's British. Moving on, Harry Potter Ray finds aka Voldemort has hilarious advice for the HBO reboot series of Voldemort. So what does he say? He says, make sure you can handle the long flowing robes and don't trip over them. Practice your long flowing robe walk. And also, I wore tights. Initially, I wore tights that were one piece so they had a gusset, which then kept getting lower and lower through the shooting day. It became uncomfortable, so I said I want to have individual tights like a garter belt. So I enjoyed teasing the stunt guys by lifting up my robes and showing them my garter belt. Now let's get to the meat and the potatoes, shall we? So this comes from Euronews, and it says, Stephen Fry trending online for commenting on J.K. Rowling. She seems to be a lost cause. Now, if you didn't know who Stephen Fry is, let me explain. So Stephen Fry is the original Harry Potter audiobook narrator. He was the one that you heard on Bloomsbury audiobooks. Now, if you're an American, you probably grew up with Jim Dale. However, me personally, I grew up with Stephen Fry, so I absolutely love his version of the Harry Potter narration. So, a renowned British actor, author, and broadcaster Stephen Fry has labeled Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling a lost cause and stated that she has been radicalized by TERFs, the acronym that stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. The term is used by transgender activists against gender critics like Rowling, who has dedicated much of her online presence to defending her views while expressing transphobic views. Very skewed article, isn't it? During the recording of the podcast, the show people, Fry, who previously narrated all 7 Harry Potter audiobooks, said she had been radicalized, I fear, and then maybe she has been radicalized by TERFs, but also by the vitriol that is thrown at her. As reported by the Daily Mail, Fry continued, is unhelpful and only hardens her and will only continue to harden her, I'm afraid. I'm not saying that she not be called out when she's saying things that are really cruel, wrong, and mocking. She seems to be a lost cause for us. I am sorry because I always liked her company, he added. I found her charming, funny, and interesting, and that this thing happened and it completely altered the way she talks and engages with the world now. He continued by saying that Rowling's contemptuous comments add to a terribly distressing time for trans people. Now, funny enough, I was waiting to report this for a couple days, but I'm kind of glad I did because J.K. Rowling just tweeted out today, June 22nd, 2025, and it's a quote tweet from Joe Mangum, and it says, I disagree profoundly with her on this subject. She says things that are inflammatory, contemptuous, and mocking. They add to a terribly distressing time for trans people, and he's saying Stephen Fry said that. And then he basically quote tweets himself saying, really credible, this from Stephen Fry. I've spoken to so many of J.K. Rowling's once friends who now despair of her privately but won't do so publicly, which is very much the British way and why nothing ever changes for the better. So well done, Stephen. However, if you look up here, she says, and I quote, it is a great mistake to assume that everyone who claims to have been a friend of mine was ever considered a friend by me. Now, dude, that is like, I put down there fatality because it 100% is a fatality. Like, damn. Now, let's talk about the Harry Potter TV show. So, there was an interview with Paul Whitehouse, aka Argus Filch, and he says that he'll begin shooting in August. So, things are ramping up. But the thing that I really wanted to talk about was, first of all, more casting calls, and second of all, J.K. Rowling actually commenting on the show for a change. So 21 hours ago, aka June 21st, 2025, J.K. Rowling tweets out saying, I read the first 2 episodes of the forthcoming HBO Harry Potter series, and they are so good. And this random user responds back saying, so you're not doing the writing for this show? And she replies back saying, no, but I've worked closely with the extremely talented writers, and I gotta be honest, I don't really like that, considering some of those are Nepo writers who have never written anything before. Like, I'm sorry, if this is a huge franchise, you want these people to be well-seasoned writers. Why is she not working on this, right? Like, hello? Now, here's the thing. I responded back with her original tweet with this, because I gotta be honest, when you're telling me that the Harry Potter series script is so good, but you go and do terrible casting decisions, I gotta be honest, I can't really see it doing so well. Now, there is more to this conversation, so I quote tweeted her and I asked her the question, or anyone really, and if you know the answer, please let me know. And I asked, saying, sets have already been in construction for a few weeks now, but now Miss Rowling is reading the scripts? Huh? Shouldn't she have read them prior to construction? For example, if she didn't like a certain scene or set, she could have just scrapped it. Just how much power does she have on this show? And like, I understand that they do a lot of stuff well ahead of time for construction because it does take up time, but my point still stands is like, how involved is she when she's only now just reading the scripts, which is June, the end of June 2025, and we've already found out that they're filming already starting August. So in 2 months, you're telling me that the scripts haven't even been read yet? Like, meh.
That's rubbish! That's rubbish! You don't know what you're doing!
And so Valiant Renegade said something I thought was very interesting. And unfortunately, I really can't back this up or research it. But he says actually very little. Warner Bros. Has almost total autonomy on the film and TV rights for the original books. If they wanted to create something entirely new, then they would have had to get her involved, and she would have had a lot of creative power. This is partly why Warner Bros. Did the TV show. It was an easy layup they already have the rights to without any issue. And I just asked for more information because I'd love to learn more. I love to learn more about the legality of this. I want to know how much power she has on this. I really do, because technically speaking, it's her work. She owns the franchise and the IP, so I'm really curious as to how Warner Brothers and her have a power dynamic relationship here. Welcome Oblivion says, it's not unusual for production design to begin before final scripts are shared. Usually big shows like this run on a season outline storyboard and write individual episodes from that. like I said, fair, but as it's her property, I would think she would have read them ages ago. Now that person responds back saying, most likely she approved the story that they're going with, set pieces designed in pre-pro. Says take a long time to build and can be changed on a whim once built. Methinks they're writing the scripts now and she's approving them as they come. And I said, makes sense. I hope that's right, but I gotta be honest, with 2 months only for filming, and even before then, because apparently filming has already been going on, you know, like the exterior shots of the island in France and everything. I'm like, if filming's already been starting, I don't know, this sounds a bit weird to me. Now then, let's talk about more casting calls. So this comes from Unbox PhD, and it says Warner Brothers and HBO are looking for a young child aged 2 to 4 years and 4 to 6 years of age. Looks like the series could focus on a young Harry Potter. So I was saying that maybe they would probably like show flashbacks with mentions that Harry talks about, you know, jumping on the roof, or his hair growing back when Aunt Petunia cuts it really, really short, or running from Dudley and his gang. You know, I think those are what they're going to be doing. I'm okay with that, like more flashbacks to see like how horrible Harry's life was before he turned 11. Now here's more casting call news. So, possible Watford casting call for young twins. A recently released casting call is looking for twins and multiples who are Caucasian, aged between 12 and 15 months and have dark hair. So things are rolling, guys. Now they're doing more casting calls for a lot of doubles. By the way, a body double is someone whose face is not shown on camera, but like their hands or the back of their head or walking from a distance. Those type of things are what is considered a body double. So, for example, I've actually interviewed Flick Miles, who was Emma Watson's body double for the first 3 Harry Potter movies, and this is what she looks like. So as you can see, very similar in skin, hair, you name it. And if you're really curious, here is the interview with Flick Miles down below in the description. So this is not a casting call for Harry, Ron, and Hermione. It's just for principal actors in various scenes. So if you are resembling, I guess, one of the children who are not Harry, Ron, Hermione, so for example, Parvati, Draco, or Lavender, or Seamus, who are so far the only ones they've announced, then hey, check out this casting call. Now this casting call shows a lot of information by accident. So this is from the project casting, and it says child doubles needed for major TV series. And here are the requirements for Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And let's just break this down. Male child double, Caucasian skin tone, dark hair. Now let's look at Hermione. Female child double, any mixed heritage, olive skin tone, dark hair. We finally have confirmation about what many people have speculated, that Hermione was actually race swapped. And this scene is going to have a whole new meaning to it.
No one asked your opinion, you filthy little mudblood.
Now there's also a double casting call for Ron. Male child double, Caucasian skin tone, red hair. So yes, they 100% did change the race of Hermione. And I have plenty to say about that. So first things first, let's just listen to a little short video that I clipped from 1998 from the ITN archive.
Is there any of yourself? I mean, I think I've read one of the other interviews you get that this part of you is in one of the characters.
Yeah, definitely. The girl, the main female character, Hermione, she's a caricature of what I was at 11. A right little know-it-all, you know, but underneath very insecure. That's very much what I was like. But I wasn't as clever as her. If I'd have been as clever as her, I would have been, you know, genius. She's a lot cleverer than I was. But I was definitely that kind of little girl who constantly thinks they've got everything wrong and then ends up with 110% and everyone wants to kill them.
So, unless J.K. Rowling identifies as a mixed-race little girl, this casting is incorrect. Now there is more to this, because right here, I took this photo months ago. This is the best explanation of what Hermione resembles. So, if you guys remember in Chapter 5 of Harry Potter and Half-Blood Prince, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are inside of Fred and George's room, and they're looking at a whole bunch of Weasley Wizard Wheezy's boxes. And Hermione picks up a telescope, and then she gets punched in the eye by this punching telescope. And how does J.K. Rowling describe her? As a panda. Look. But when Harry arrived downstairs 10 minutes later, fully dressed and carrying his empty breakfast tray, it was to find Hermione sitting at the kitchen table in great agitation while Miss Weasley tried to lessen her resemblance to half a panda. Now, why is she calling her half a panda? Because Hermione's white and she got a black eye, but only one black eye, right? So that's literally a panda. Half a panda. So again, You have the source material right here and you just can't respect it. So already we've had a race swap Snape, we've had a race swap Hermione. I'm really wondering who else is going to be race swapped. I kind of bet you maybe Neville, who knows? But to further proof that Hermione has always been white, here is an illustration from J.K. Rowling herself, mind you. And this illustration features Neville Longbottom, Ron Weasley, Harry Potter in the middle, Hermione Granger over here. And although it says Gary, this is actually Dean Thomas. So before Dean Thomas was, finalized and everything, J.K. Rowling was going to name him Gary. And as you can see, he was always meant to be a black boy because he's shaded in, whereas everybody else is, guess what, white, because again, Hermione is a caricature of J.K. Rowling. So it's not like I don't disagree that like this chick, Arabella, could totally play Hermione. I think she could, but the problem is you're telling me that you couldn't find a single white British girl to play Hermione Granger. Like, are we serious? Like, hello? How many thousands of girls signed up, auditioned to play Hermione Granger? In fact, we know this. 30,000 people applied for the role in the show. And a 42-year-old man failed his audition to be Hermione Granger. It's a bit sexist and ageist, isn't it? So again, it's not that I don't disagree with the Arabella girl playing Hermione. I think she could totally pull it off, but she is the wrong race. She 100% is. And the whole, we cast based on the source material and we're going to be super duper accurate to the source material. And the fact that J.K. Rowling does not seem as involved as she's supposed to be really rubs me the wrong way for this show. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about everything that I've discussed, and I'll see you guys all next time. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you all later. Bye.